All right, welcome back to another episode of Befuddled and Confused. Sorry we were off last week. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, so we get more followers, all that good things, and figure out what else we want to do. We took last week off because of Easter,
Yes.
and I guess Lizzie got hit up by some people wondering what happened if we stopped. So, what are we talking about this week, Lizzie?
I believe we said conspiracy theories.
Yes, conspiracy theory. So which conspiracy theory do you want to hit on first?
9/11.
Now, you really think that's a conspiracy?
Well, not so much conspiracy, but I believe the government let it happen.
Oh yeah, there's no
Yeah.
doubt the government
Yeah.
let it happen.
I believe they let it happen, unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives.
Right,
What was their agenda,
right. And I think the conspiracy around it is that they say they heard some whistling about it before it happened. They didn't do anything. Something like $2 or $3 trillion went missing the day before. And if you want to get into the real conspiracy theories, how the towers went down, they say there was an explosion and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like
It
all
was
I
more
know,
like a demolition.
right? All I know is I saw a plane go into the tower.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's for me. That's a there's no conspiracy there. A plane went into the tower.
Yeah, of course, it happened.
And then the whole conspiracy around like what they knew and what they didn't know. It's like, do you act on everything?
I don't know.
You gotta have some support for your conspiracy if you're gonna say
Well,
it's a conspiracy.
They knew it was going to happen, and did all those people have to die?
No.
No. And people are still dying from it, because of, the fires and everything that happened, firefighters are getting cancer and have died, years later because
Right.
of it, Yeah.
Right. So was it a conspiracy or the government's malpractice?
Well, I don't know. I think Bush knew it was going to happen.
You knew that he knew specifically on that day that was going to happen.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they knew it was going to happen.
See, that's where I have a hard time believing like someone would just let it happen because like you saw his reaction when the planes hit. Like I lean conservative, but I don't think Bush is that good of an actor to where like he got affected.
Yeah.
Yes, like we got the Patriot Act because of it and all this other stuff. But as far as conspiracies, I don't think there's much conspiracy behind it. Yes, I believe we knew something was going to happen. And that's a problem with I believe the problem with the age that we live in is there's so much information, misinformation, counter information that everything can be a conspiracy theory nowadays. Like the whole
COVID.
I'm sorry when COVID started,
Yep.
like everyone was like 15 days to slow the spread, and then like everyone likes to rewrite history, right? Like they want to say, oh well, the Democrats would have done a better job, right? And I don't know if you remember seeing Nancy Pelosi in Chinatown telling everyone, come on down, let's support Chinatown with no mask on. How about our governor in or not our governor, but our LA mayor still having the LA Marathon after Trump said to shut down?
Yeah.
But everyone's saying that Trump did it wrong, But beyond the Trump stuff, like I remember when COVID started, I was like, it's not really that bad of a thing because I don't know anybody that knows anybody that I was like 12 degrees away from anybody that possibly might know somebody that might know somebody that has COVID. So yeah, like I thought COVID was a bunch of bull crap, And then like it's hard to believe COVID. And all these nurses crying and saying, "Oh, like please help!" Like, sorry if nurses are watching, but like you see all these nurses playing the victim as they go on TikTok and do these dance recitals that like you don't just pick up in a minute. Like it takes time to be able to get that coordinated of a dance thing going,
Yeah.
And so like you can't put out these TikTok videos of these dancing. And then in the next video, cry about like how the mask hurts your face and you see
Yeah.
people dying.
Yeah. I mean, I know one of the things I heard when the COVID first came out is like, oh, the Democrats did it because they want to get Trump out of office. And I was like, oh, God. Here we go.
Well, that all started because Bill Maher, or whatever his name is, said that he was wishing for a recession to get rid of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted anything to get rid of him. And now look what we got. The worst migration ever. Do you think that's a conspiracy?
I don't know what to think.
You don't know what to think about the migration?
Honestly, I told you I haven't watched the news in months. It's depressing.
It is. It's very depressing, and it depends what you watch. Okay, let's go to another conspiracy. Because I know I was big on this, and like I'll probably get a lot of hate on this.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought George Floyd was a conspiracy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like I thought it was a setup
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know why I thought it was a setup. However, like it just seemed very suspicious that it happened during a time in the middle of a pandemic. We're not supposed to be out. Everything's supposed to be locked down.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm ignorant, and this is where conspiracies start: is people being ignorant,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like when you look on the back of the police cars, they all said police.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a license plate that said police. Like usually,
Yeah.
like they have letters and numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and then like their badges didn't all match up. Like there's a lot of things that I was like, like
Yeah.
did they send Derek Chauvin out on purpose to kill George Floyd? Like was it all a conspiracy?
Yeah.
Like did you ever think that was a conspiracy?
No, I didn't. But then, like you said, little things in the video, and it makes you think, like, well, what's really going on?
Right.
Yeah. Why did it do it like that? You know? I don't know.
Because now my new conspiracy is that the prosecution's doing a bad job to let Chauvin off.
That the prosecution is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That's my new conspiracy.
Mm.
And you know, you say enough conspiracies, eventually I'll be right. You know,
Yeah.
because like, so they went for a second degree murder, third degree murder, and second degree manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And with the passenger in the car being his drug dealer, but he didn't take the stand, he took the fifth. His girlfriend saying that he OD'd in March. So first of all, the reason the passenger took pled the fifth
Mm-hmm.
is because if they bring up the idea that there was drugs in the car and that he was around when there was drugs and there was a chance that Floyd died because of drugs, then he could be charged with third degree murder.
Mm.
It's also been proven that he supplied him opium or whatever.
Yeah.
Then there was a cop that actually said that he used the least lethal force possible, and this is one of the prosecution witnesses
Ooh.
because he had the right when he pulled up to tase him right away
Mm-hmm.
because how he was acting. And if you tased him, a taser now is considered lethal force. So he used less lethal force. He could have tased him.
Yeah.
Then they're showing videos of his knee on his shoulder blade instead of his neck.
Yeah. I've seen that too. So it never really was on his neck. It was on the shoulder blade.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's my conspiracy, right? Here's another part of the conspiracy. Not only is the prosecution doing a poor job, but like I went and talked to my dad the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I told my dad like it looks like Derek Chauvin might get off because like the prosecution's doing a horrible job. The defense hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
My dad's like, where are you getting your information from? Like the prosecution's doing a great job. I was like, really? Like, did you not hear these things that are happening? Like, did you not hear any? And like, my dad hadn't heard any of this information.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, by not hearing this information, the media is setting us up
Yeah.
to have another riot. And if we have
Oh, it's going to happen regardless. I think if he gets convicted or not, I think it's going to happen.
so if he gets convicted, why would we have a riot?
It's an excuse for people. In the past, he might not get enough time as some people might think he should get.
He won't.
You know.
It'll never be enough.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be enough. You know, whatever time they give him, you know, whether it's 5 years, 15 years, I think it's just going to be like, oh, you know, that's wrong. Took
Right.
his life. So.
Yeah, but did he take his life? That's a whole question. Like, I'm not saying that George Floyd deserved to die. Like, and I'm not saying Derek Chauvin's innocent of any wrongdoing.
Mhm.
However, like what they're charging him with, like they have no proof of,
Yeah.
and that's the issue. So if he gets convicted, how many cops are going to resign? And then how many riots will happen?
Yeah.
Because if he gets convicted and the left is happy, we'll still have riots.
Yeah.
At a celebration.
Yeah.
And that's your side.
Stop it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies out there. The whole BLM and the cop,
Mm-hmm.
where they say that a cop started the riots for George Floyd. Do you believe that?
No.
The man in black with the umbrella.
No, I don't believe that.
So I'm not saying that specifically, but there has been people that get paid to start riots. Like they get put in.
I have heard that.
Yeah,
yes.
because there's mob mentality. So like if a window gets broken and someone's rushing in to get free shoes,
Mhm.
and you're there, like fuck it, like why can't I get free shoes? You know.
Yeah.
So there's that mob mentality. So there was that with a BLM. And then there's new not conspiracies, but there's new allegations with BLM where there's a lady that bought a $1.6 million house in a white neighborhood that's a Black Lives Matters leader.
Oh wow.
She bought it with the funds from Black Lives Matters.
Oh wow. Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, let's go to another conspiracy. White supremacy. I like this one. Because everything that happens right now is white supremacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about this Asian hate that's going on? Is it white supremacy?
No, because I don't think it's just white people that are hating on the Asian community.
Is it Trump's fault?
I don't want to say it's his fault directly, but him making comments like, "Oh, the China virus" and stuff like that. He might say something. Any politician will say something, and we turn it around and the way we hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I totally hear that, and I understand that. However, where is the self-reflection and self-ownership, right? Because like if Trump told me to go jump off a bridge, I wouldn't jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
So if Trump tells me that it came from China, why would I hate Chinese? Like just because someone tells you something doesn't mean you don't have your own ownership of it, and I think that's where we're getting to in our society is like we like to play the blame game, right? And that's where this whole conspiracy theories come from and everything, because we want to have someone or something or somehow to blame, and it's their fault and this and that, and the reason I brought up the Asian hate is in my business. It's either a lot of Armenians or a lot of Asians, and like the ones I talk to never play the victim card. They look at the challenge card. It's like, oh, this happened to me. Okay, how do I get around it?
Yeah.
Right? They never look for someone to blame. Or the Armenians, they don't look for someone to blame.
Yeah.
Like, but yet every other ethnicity, including whites, and I'm not saying like just Latinos or Latinx, as people like to say, or African Americans, even though Elon Musk is an African American, they like to play the victim card, and there is no victim.
Yeah.
It's a lesson,
But there has been a lot more hate crimes against Asians.
Oh, huge!
Yeah.
Like I just saw some reel on Instagram, all these Asians just getting like rocked, and I was like, holy crap! And so going back to that statistics, right? White on white crime or crime against whites. I think it was like you could look it up. Don't trust me. 65% of white crime is done by white people. I think it's 75% of black crime against blacks is done against blacks. In the Asian community, it's something like 12% of Asian crime is done from Asian on Asian. However, the majority of Asian crime is actually like 27% black people. But you never hear that. You don't hear that. Like, and this isn't to blame blacks. It's the individuals, right? And that's where like I hate to get into the race issue because it's not the blacks doing it to the Asians. It's that person.
Yeah.
It's not a Latino doing it to a white person. It's that person.
Yeah.
Like we need to have, I forget what it's called, but like we need to take responsibility for ourselves instead of like blaming everyone. Because like they want to say, oh, white people do this, but yet you can't say black people do that.
No, because then you're racist.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. And that's my conspiracy too. Is let's get back into politics. You've heard of the big switch?
I've heard that term.
Do you know what it is?
No.
So they say that yes, Abraham Lincoln started the Republicans. There was Democrats before that, and then like somewhere in the 50s or 60s, there became this big switch in politics to where the Republicans used to be left, and then they became right. And the Democrats used to be right, and then they became left. They're like there was this big switch in like how they believed. So that's why they say the Democrats own that they used to be racist, right? Like the Democrats used to believe in slavery. The Democrats used to this, used to that, used to, and now they say the Republicans are Hitler. The Republicans are the Nazis. The Republicans are this. Well, if there was a big switch, we're in the middle of another big switch.
Oh, goodness.
If you don't believe me, what's happening at Columbia University right now?
I don't watch the news.
They're having segregated ceremonies based upon race and socioeconomics,
Oh, wow.
pushed by the progressive left.
Well, that's wrong.
Why do you want to segregate yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
What about the rappers right now? I think it's P. Diddy and some other people are getting mad at GM because they're not taking enough black money or giving enough money to black advertisement. It's like, I would advertise with who's going to get me the most money,
Exactly.
not based upon your color.
Yeah, so
What about
are they in the wrong for that?
Who?
Like P. Diddy or whoever.
I think they're horribly wrong to be doing that.
Yeah.
Because then, here's the other thing. There is a school district in California. You are now not allowed to suspend or flunk a Latino or an African American student.
Why not?
Because it's based upon white supremacy. And white supremacy...
I'm sorry, that's a joke.
You think it's a joke, but like it's legit.
It's so stupid.
It is,
though.
because what they're saying is being on time, being productive, having lists. Like there's a whole thing of things that are all based on white supremacy. So being on time is white supremacist.
How's that?
I don't get it.
That's like saying all white people are on time.
Trust me, they're not. We just had this conversation.
No, and that's like saying, well, all Hispanic people are late.
Right.
That's not true.
It's not.
No.
But that's what they're getting to. And so what I'm trying to get at is the left. There's a difference between left and liberal, right? And I think you're more liberal than you are left. But I don't think you understand what I mean by that. And it's hard to get into that. But the left is pushing for all this stuff. And what they're doing is they're creating this segregation and getting us back to the separation.
Yeah.
And looking at us based upon white or color. Our friend Johnny was over here the other day for the fights. And I guess it's wrong to say that we live in a melting pot.
Why? It is a melting pot.
Because
They've always referred to, the U.S. as a melting pot.
now he's in the social, or he's in psychology, and you have to say that we live in a fruit salad. And what is meant by that, it sounds so stupid.
Sounds gay.
It does.
Sorry.
But you gotta let the watermelon be the watermelon. You gotta let the banana be the banana. You gotta let the apple be the apple. I'm sorry, you can't do that. We are a melting pot, right? That's the left talks about cultural appropriation, and this goes into conspiracy theories because I think the left is trying to get us back to like the slavery days.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's such thing as cultural appropriation. If a white dude wants to wear cornrows, like he may look like a freaking idiot, but he's saying how beautiful cornrows are.
I've seen a white guy with cornrows.
Right.
Yeah.
I like if a black person wants to wear hoop earrings, like yes, they might be cultural appropriating whatever from the Latino community, but like hoop earrings go beyond that. But like they're saying they're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the Vikings wore dreads, and like there is no cultural appropriation, but like,
Yeah.
but we made everything about culture and race, and well, we haven't. The left has.
So basically, you have to stick to your own culture. Only wear what your culture, you know, is known to. You know, like the hoop earrings. You know,
Right.
only cholas wear hoop earrings.
Yeah. That's a little racist, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But it also depends on like what about your understanding of history, right? Because like if you believe we all come from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
then how am I cultural appropriating anything if we all come from the same continent?
Yeah. It's a joke. I'm sorry. It's just stupid.
Is it? It is a joke. And that's the whole point. Is like it's become such a joke that like we're canceling everything. That
History repeats itself.
not only that history repeats itself, but like we forget history. And like I'll go back to like being educated in like what we understand is like the first woman to run for president. Like we talked about this on the first episode. It was in 1880. 20 years before the women were given the right to vote, right? And I say given the right to vote because like if you even look at history in the 1920s, women, the majority of women, didn't want the right to vote.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want the right to vote?
I don't know.
They didn't want the right to vote because they knew if they had the right to vote, that would mean they'd also have to leave the house and go into the workforce.
Oh, okay.
I like the women were smart enough to see down the road. Like if I don't have the right to vote, I could sit at home, I can do other things. But if I take the right to vote, like I'll have more responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a catch-22. I'm not saying that women don't want more responsibility. However, like people say, well, you can't give women something they already deserve to have. Well, not all women wanted the right to vote.
Yeah.
Not all women want to go out into the workforce.
Yeah.
Not all men want to go out into the workforce. Like we see lazy people all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And like I say women because it's so easy to say women because it's tradition, right? What other conspiracies do you have?
Well, I think my niece mentioned what they call false flagging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I had to look it up. You know, I guess the shootings that been happening. You know, they're saying, you know, what a coincidence. They're trying to ban sales of certain rifles or whatever, and then all of a sudden these shootings are happening. You know, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Right.
You know.
So if you even look at guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Biden is on this whole thing of he did the Brady Act, he did all this other stuff, and he did an assault, or he did a ban on assault weapons, and he's saying that gun violence went down. Well, on average, gun violence didn't go down after he passed that. Like he's giving out a lot of false information. And then as far as all these mass shootings, right?
Mm-hmm.
The false flag is how you define a mass shooting. Because if you define a mass shooting, I believe it's by 4 or more people.
Mm-hmm.
That's when most of the people are white. That's when you get all these mass shootings that are done, and how the media wants to portray it.
Yeah.
If you take it down to 3 people or more, the whole demographic gets shifted
Mm-hmm.
to where the mass majority of mass shootings are done by black people because of gangs.
Yeah.
But they have to up it 1 more person to fit the narrative. So that's the false flag, right?
Yeah.
Because like they want to talk about all these like let's ban assault weapons. Like what does AR mean in the AR-15?
It's an assault rifle.
Is that what the AR stands for?
AR, I think so.
This is where it gets interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not what it stands for. What does the AR and the AR-15 stand for? The AR stands for the letters of Arma Light. It is designed with the extensive use of aluminum alloys and synthetic materials in order to reduce weight.
Interesting.
But AR, assault rifle, makes it sound like it would be AR.
Yeah.
But that's not even what it is. And what do they mean assault rifle? Or assault weapon? If I took this and smashed this over your head, this would be an assault mug.
Yeah.
Like the mug itself can't assault you.
Yeah.
So by making all these laws, right, and this is where I think it's a false flag. Like they're having all these shootings and saying like we're having mass shootings because of guns. So we make more laws. Who's gonna follow the laws?
Not very many people.
The law-abiding people.
Yeah.
Who aren't doing the mass shootings. So if you want to get these mass shootings under control, how about we make it more strict when you do something with a weapon that you shouldn't?
Yeah.
If you have a weapon with a filed off serial number, go to jail for 10 years. You have a weapon as a felony, go to jail for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like instead of penalizing the people that own the weapons legally and are gonna follow the law, you people that are gonna break the law are gonna break the law.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna do it with or without the weapon too.
Right. And so like all these mass shootings, like you don't think they've always happened?
No, they have happened.
They've always happened.
Yeah.
You take away the weapons, if these mass killings, and I'm not going to say mass shootings, because if these mass killings, if you take away the weapons, and someone wants to do a mass killing, you can look up how to build a pipe bomb on YouTube.
Yeah. Or they could use a knife or machete
Or a car.
Yeah. Anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
So what good is it to take away the weapons?
Not any.
So here's the other false flag. The loophole. You've heard of the gun show loophole?
No.
So that's what they're talking about in all these gun laws is the gun show loophole. Like, oh, they're saying, oh, you could just go to a gun show and buy any weapon you want, blah, blah, blah. Dude, sign me up for the next gun show. Like, please sign me up for the next gun show because I just want to go there and buy 100 guns if I could buy whatever I want.
Yeah.
The truth is when you go to a gun show, you still have to do a background check. Not only that, but then they're saying like there's a friend loophole or family loophole where I can sell you a gun, right? And yes, that does exist. So I can sell you a gun. However, if I sell you a gun knowing that you can't have a gun or not faithfully like finding out if you can have a gun, like I'm still liable if you do something with that gun. So like all these loopholes are BS, and that's what happened with the Brady Act is. When Biden did this Brady Act back in the 90s about all these assault weapons and everything, like he knew he couldn't get a total ban on guns, and so he left in there that you could still buy guns for gun shows through the FFLA or whatever, the firearms whatever, and you had to follow certain procedures, but he knew he couldn't get a total stoppage, so he left that in there, hoping that us as Americans would be dumb and forget about it. And then, like, years later, you'd be like, oh, well, there's a loophole.
Yeah.
No, there's no loophole. Like you made the bill. So Biden basically saying he's an idiot for leaving a loophole in there, and he's running our country. And I'm just saying Biden is an idiot just because, like, he's an easy target. So.
Yeah, maybe what they can do, too, is, people, I might buy a gun today, but in 10 years, I might not be mentally stable.
Right.
So they should have, just like when you have certain jobs and you have to do a background check every now and then, every few years, whatever, they should do that for people that own guns too.
They do have background checks.
No, but I'm saying like, do it like you buy a gun today, but I'm saying have it where every like 3 years you got to do the background check.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. And so here's the other false narrative and I use false narrative and false flag interchangeably because like you've heard of we don't have universal background check right now.
No.
So that's what they're saying. They say they want universal background check on all guns. Well, the truth is we have a background check on all guns, But when they say universal background check, what they want is they want a register of everyone that has a weapon. They want to have a registry of all weapons and who owns them,
Oh,
which I don't think you should have.
yeah, I don't think so either.
That's stupid. If I go get a background check, I'm cleared. Like, let me have it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a whole catch-22 and it's a whole mess right now with this whole weapons, and we're gonna see more mass shootings. Here's the other false flag, right? Like Biden did this whole speech just the other day about like oh, we need to like ban these weapons, and so I guess there's when you have a pistol, there's actually a stabilizer on your wrist that you can get, an extension, right? Or your wrist or elbow. And so, like, when you shoot it, there's less of a recoil.
Yeah.
And so Biden went into a speech and he's like, oh, yeah, like, we need to put a ban on these because it makes the gun more lethal. Not really. The gun still shoots at the same fire rate.
Yeah.
Like, so what he was trying to say, and I understand what he was trying to say, was it makes the gun more accurate because there's less recoil. However, what he wasn't telling you people was that the reason that that was built was for the disabled.
Oh, okay.
So people that can't hold a gun with two arms can then have a gun and be able to fire it
Yeah.
safely. So now Biden has become an ableist by wanting to ban those.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if you have a disability and you can't hold a gun steady, you have Parkinson's, but yet you want to be able to shoot a gun, you can't have a gun now. So he's an ableist.
Yeah.
But and this is where I feel sorry for Biden is I don't think he knows what he's saying anymore. I honestly don't.
He's not projecting it correctly.
He has it just like me, right? I have ideas in my head that like I can't get out through my words. Like they sound great in my head, but when they come out of my mouth, like my head is like 10 thoughts ahead of my mouth, and so like the words that are coming out of my mouth are all jumbled.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Biden is too. What about the Hunter conspiracy theory?
The Hunter.
Hunter Biden conspiracy theory. His laptop
Oh.
and the media covering it up, and now after he gets elected, all of a sudden it is his.
I don't know.
You don't know about how about
I don't know.
his interview with Jimmy Kimmel where he said he was smoking. He smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone else because he was
No, I
looking.
didn't know he said that.
Yeah, because he was looking for his his crack.
He really said
yeah,
that?
he
Oh
really
my
said
God.
that. I like the whole Hunter Biden. We're talking about gun control. Every law that Biden wants to push or has pushed in the past, like Hunter Biden should be in jail for life.
He's broken everyone.
In 2018, he filled out an application for a gun, and it depends how you interpret it, right? And I get it, and some people might get pushback on this. It says, are you addicted to, or have been addicted to, or using, or any illegal drugs, depression, right? And he put no. And so they're saying he lied on it. Not only that, but then I guess like his friend or his wife or his girlfriend took the gun and threw it in a dumpster.
Oh God.
Then they went back to try and retrieve the gun because that's illegal to dump it. This is all in the Biden family.
Yeah.
And the gun was missing, so they had to report it.
Yeah. Not good.
Like, if you want to talk about conspiracy, like why is it like Hunter? Jimmy Kimmel laughs about his drug addiction. They laugh about his gun. They laugh about him getting kicked out of the Navy. They laugh about his laptop. They laugh about the prostitutes. And this is all the media, right? And the Democrats. And then you look at Donald Trump Jr. What happened to him? He might have had a meeting with the Russians. Never proven, but he was ridiculed for 3 years over it. Like he might have made some money on the side under the Trump name. He was ridiculed under that. Like what laws did Don Jr. break versus Biden?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like these are my conspiracies. Is the media? My biggest conspiracy is the media is hooked up with the Democrats.
Except Fox News.
except for Fox News, OAN, and what's the other one? Newsmax.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are all like right leaning.
Yeah, but the media shouldn't take sides.
No, they shouldn't.
They should report the news how it is.
Right.
Not, lean more towards the left or more towards the right.
Right. Like the news should have been Don Jr. might have had a meeting at the hotel. That's the end.
Yeah.
Until you find out more information. Hunter Biden's laptop might have been left off. Boom. That's it. I give us direct news, but the media feeds us all this information to feed us into the conspiracy theories. Like I'm scared. Like when the Derek Chauvin trial gets over. Like I was going to go to Las Vegas, not this week, but next week.
Mm-hmm.
But the trial may be over. I don't want to be somewhere where there's going to be riots.
Yeah.
Right? Or this Hunter Biden thing. Like if it comes out and everything is figured out, like who knows what's going to happen with Joe Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Because on his laptop supposedly it shows that like Joe Biden is hooked up with the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So I think I wish we could get back to where news was news.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. This apple is red, right? Like that's what the news should be. It shouldn't be like, I think this is a blue cup. It should be like, no, this is a blue cup. Boom. You make up your mind whether it's blue or not.
Yeah.
But that's not where we're at.
No.
Any other conspiracy you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
I think we've covered most of them.
Nah, I mean, we could always talk about the moon landing. We could always talk about the magic bullet of JFK. We could always talk about Deep Throat with Nixon. What else? We could always talk about weapons of mass destruction.
Or John F. Kennedy being assassinated.
That's the magic bullet.
No, okay. Whatever.
I mean, yeah, like where the Confederate flag came from, because it's actually a Dixiecrat flag that was made by the Democrats. Like,
yes, I know.
So, all right, well, please like, subscribe, share, comment. You could text Liz directly if you know her number, or you can comment below. So, like, I have some ideas because I will choose a topic next week, maybe if I get any good ideas. And we will go from there. Thanks again for listening.